Fellow Ambazonians, this is Dr. Liz. It is with a heavy heart that I make this audio today, Saturday, October 27th, 2018. I have adopted a number of stances throughout this struggle. I have shown ultimate drive and enthusiasm, stepped back a little at times, picked myself up again and dusted myself up, and jumped right back into the ring. I have faced discouragement and oftentimes a desire to turn my back on the struggle. And then I wake up the next day and I start fighting all over again. And the cycle continues. And I believe I'm not the only one who is experiencing these mood swings. But I think these conflicting feelings are far better than what we as a people are facing now. An impasse. Yes, we are at an impasse. Emotionless. Do nothing. Wait and see impasse, and everybody knows it. But the question is, what are we waiting for? We have come a long way. We have suffered a lot. We have lost so many lives. And ordinarily, these experiences should bring us new knowledge or new insights. What are the insights that we have learned from these difficult experiences this past almost 2 years? And how can we use both our successes, perceived or real, to strategize and advance our struggle? We can't just sit and do nothing. Worse than doing nothing is the blame game that accompanies the lack of strategy. Blaming others helps those responsible for prosecuting a task feel better momentarily only. But that's not a solution. Is this the way forward for us? Blaming each other, attacking each other, having no strategy, having no plan, having no roadmap, having nobody who speaks to us on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis to try to show us some kind of map. We have seen the blame game in so many ways. For example, the UN decolonization frenzy. That was a 4-minute slot to talk about Sahrawi or something. Mark you, it wasn't about Ambazonia and an NGO that is unknown to any of us. Yet, Ambazonians managed to find a scapegoat on whom to hang their frustrations and their lack of progress towards our restoration quest, on the pretext that a single call from an individual had destroyed all hope for independence that this decolonization committee was going to hand to us on a silver platter. It seems almost laughable, but that's the truth. Then there was the premature congratulatory message to Kamto. Whatever that Dr. Sako's strategy was, it met an immediate dead end when Biya did what Biya does best. I think the worst thing about initiating something as gargantuous as our revolution is underestimating the strength of your enemy. There are all indications that Skakov, the governing council, and the interim government, or whoever is at the helm of this revolution, may not have sat down to draw up a plan, a SWOT plan, or whatever on how to prosecute things. We were flying by the seat of our pants, as the saying goes. So the blame game helps us to find easy targets and scapegoats on whose necks we can hang our failures. We see and hear scapegoating and insults on Facebook and other social media platforms. We have observed the absolute denigration and tarnishing of the lofty cause that we embarked upon 2 years ago. When men born of woman mount a podium and call women prostitutes and all other sorts of names which I can't bring myself to pronounce, and Ambazonians clap for them, then something is seriously wrong. When actions carried by fellow citizens to move the needle in this struggle are virulently attacked and the characters of those sacrificing their talents, their time, and their life are dragged in the mud and people watch and clap, then something is seriously wrong somewhere and we need to examine what it is. How do these attitudes move our revolution forward? Are we so lost to strategies to manage a noble project that all we have left is to sling mud at fellow citizens? Is this the type of Ambazonia we are fighting for and losing lives for? Such a country is no country for me. For you can take everything from a man or a woman, but you must leave him with his human dignity. We have allowed people to lead us to the darkest place of human existence and recesses of our souls, where there is no dignity. And by so doing, we have lost not just our way, but the soul of the revolution. For that is why I threw my hat in the ring, to uphold our human dignity. Then, the killings of Amber fighters by Amber fighters. That is such an abomination that I'm even unable to bring myself to address it. Amateurism, adventurism, experimentation have no place in a revolution of this magnitude. Yes, we know that prosecuting a revolution is not easy, nor is it a linear process. We know that some who may be in leadership position today may never have taken a course in political science, nor leadership, nor any other type of training whatsoever that may have prepared them for the roles that they are now called upon to perform. Consequently, there have been missed opportunities and dead ends. But dead ends don't necessarily mean the end of the journey. When smart drivers come to a dead end, they stop their vehicles. They step out of the vehicle, they survey the environment, and they look for alternative routes. What we are doing now, sitting in this Restoration Quest vehicle that seems to have run out of gas, has flat tires, and apparently has no conductor at the wheel, or at least a conductor who knows what he's doing, is not acceptable. We are just in a state of motionlessness. Where is the leader of the revolution, whom many of the people say is the IG? Where is the leadership of the IG to show us the way forward and break this impasse? Many concerned Ambazonians have tried to find alternatives, but many of these alternatives have been blocked or hijacked by the same IG that is supposed to lead us to independence. Never mind what IG supporters say. I can list a few from my own eyewitness experience and account. First, there was the fourth conclave in Zaria. Then there was the Canada initiative. Then there was the Talk of Boston initiative. Then there was AACC, for which I was a member of the planning committee. And I could tell right from the start that it was being hijacked and designed in bad faith by the IG and will avail nothing. In fact, I told a few people who cared to ask that the AAC would be a failure even before it held, because it was designed and planned on bad faith to project the IG instead of bringing people together. And there are many other examples. The IG is so scared about the prospect of any person replacing it, or any organ, or any body, and it has sabotaged every attempt of concerned individuals to come up with a working group that will take this revolution to the finish line. As a social media activist said the other day, some would rather shake Bia's hand and let us all die than give up their title or prospect of sitting at the table with somebody that they also called a president. So we are stuck. We are motionless. So yes, indeed, we are stuck. We are motionless. We are at an impasse, a dead end. We're doing nothing. And fellow Ambazonians, even though this may sound really dark, we are doomed if we don't do something. The writing is on the wall. The final page of the book of La République to obliterate us is being written. The GCE board and the FECA-foot things that happened this week are just the full stops to their master plan. And to think that the plan to totally assimilate and obliterate a people is being completed after the loss of so many lives is the greatest tragedy of all times. There is no historical precedence for this that I can recall that a valiant cause would end so tragically. But Ambazonians, as I have said before in some of my write-ups when I'm frustrated, are happy to be a sample of, tragic historical experiments. This is nothing new. We will just sit and we will just wait. We will just wait for something that we do not know of. In fact, if you ask the majority of Ambazonians now, what are you waiting for? They will not tell you. They will not ask the people who are in leadership, what are your plans? What are your strategies? Tell us your roadmap. When are you going to implement it? How are you going to implement it? They will not do that either. They will just follow, because following is the easy thing that we have learned to do in our lives. It is unfortunate that there is nothing new here. But if the few fearless ones don't do something to salvage and rescue us as quickly as possible, I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but I can safely say here that if something is not done with urgency during this period of impasse, this revolution is over. The thing is, I've always wondered, how do we shoot our way to independence? I look at history and revolutions and violent revolutions and civil wars, and I don't see many examples that I can predicate my assumptions on. It has not happened in Syria for over 7 years. It has not happened in Yemen for over 3 years. In southern Sudan, they are still shooting at each other. It took over 2 decades in Eritrea, and the list goes on and on and on. Yes, indeed, we embrace self-defense as the last resort because we felt like most other options had been blocked and we were not having a headway. But self-defense was supposed to be driven by diplomacy. But the IG has blocked the path to diplomacy by usurping the position of leadership, and it has no strategy, no skills, no inroads, and absolutely, it does not have the tools to prosecute the diplomatic end that is going to support the self-defense so that the two hands are washing each other and supporting each other. Instead, the IG has decided to meddle in ground zero. It has set up local government areas that pits Amber boys against Amber boys and kills them and buries them in mass graves. What happened to our noble cause? How did we get here? What is the solution to this impasse? This terrible phase where the only thing we see happening is us turning on each other. In fact, La République just needs to wait. La République just needs to wait us out, and we shall deliver victory to them. Our own victory. We shall score in our own goal because of our lack of strategy, because of our power mongering, because of our money-grabbing attitude, and because of our do-nothingness. When people on ground zero contact us with their cries for proactive action, they often end up telling us to urge the IG to do something about this terrible situation. I don't respond to that because I know the IG has no strategy, and the IG is just, yes, indeed, the IG has many departments that have done a lot of work, but I think it's time to halt that now and get the territory on which those departments and all of those policies that have been written will be implemented. We cannot keep appointing positions after positions to be pushing paper when we have no land. First things first, our priority now is to get the land on which we shall implement the policies. So the bogus and overblown IG is unnecessary now. What we need is the land, and the people on ground zero are tired. And they ask us, when I say, why are you saying the IG is the person to do something? And they say, well, the IG is the only people we see on SCBC and ABC, and that's who we know is responsible. Oh, yes, the IG was very smart. It set up a media organ in order to impose its image on the people and brainwash them. So, for the sake of the suffering people on ground zero, for the sake of all those who have died, for all our forefathers, those who have gone, and those who are just silently rooting for us to succeed this time around, I'm calling on all well-meaning Ambazonians to join their voices to mine, and let's together call upon the IG to self-dissolve, so that together we can form a national revolutionary council that will take us to the finish line of this revolution. Please join your voices to mine. Call upon the IG to do first things first, to push diplomacy, to show us the plan, to come together with smart brains that will develop strategies, to go into all of those nooks and crannies that we have been unable to pursue because we don't have the skills and the right personnel. So many people have turned their backs on the struggle. So many people are disillusioned by what they see right now. But please, Ambazonians, think about the people who have lost their lives. Did we bring them this far to leave them in the middle of the ocean where they can't go forward because they face the deep blue sea and they can't go backwards? Join your voices to mine. Call on Dr. Sako and his IG to please do the right thing by this nation. Self-dissolve. Disband yourselves. Only you can do it. You're not answerable to any of us. We didn't elect you in that position. You just came up and you wrestled the position. You appointed yourselves and you lord it over us. So only you can self-dissolve, and so you can get out of the way, so that we can put together a fully functional organ mandated by the people with the skills and the strategies and the know-how and the proactiveness to take us through this impasse to the finish line. This is an appeal that should not fall on deaf ears. Ambazonians, stop writing your anonymous write-ups where you are basically criticizing the IG, but you are afraid to write your names on it. You are afraid to tell them exactly what you think. What we need is a national revolutionary council headed by octogenarians and other smart and savvy people, all well-meaning people who want our freedom. And we need it now. Time is of the essence. Our people are dying. The situation is degenerating by the day. There is no need for us to wait endlessly for something that we do not know. What are we waiting for? The time to act is now. Please, rise up, make your voices heard, so that we should bring this struggle to a short and speedy conclusion, and we save our people and save our nation. Long live Ambazonia. Dr. Liz.